It's 5 things here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging you out, giving you 5 things you need to know for the Chiefs' upcoming Monday Night Football clash with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not only me here, though. You guys already know the drill. The KC Laboratory. We got Only Weird Games. We got Matt Hamilton, Benny Heisler. I'll give you my beef of the week as well to kick things off, to get you prepared for the Chiefs-Jags game as the momentum continues to build for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm out here at Batchelder Friendly Farms. This program is brought to you by Batchelder Friendly Farms. And a really cool thing we're doing this year with them. Chiefs on the road this week, but you got to get your order in for the KCSN Foundation tailgate packs here at BatchelderFriendlyFarms.com. You can get for $100, you can get 2 pounds of ground beef, a bison breakfast sausage, 2 packs of spicy bison brats, bison summer sausage, bison Tataka Slims, that's 4 packs of those, and bison 2-ounce old timer. I do get 2 packs of those 2-ounce old timer as well. For $100, you get all of this meat right here. You get all of that ready to go for your tailgate. And if you want to spend $200, we'll double it and throw in a ground bison brisket. Golly, I don't know if there's a better deal on the market out there too. Not to mention 10% of the proceeds go to the KCSN Foundation. You are buying local and you are helping local Kansas City kids. I cannot think of anything that's better than that. Maybe actually I can. Let's go ahead and talk to Kent Swanson to get this 5 things started. Maybe he's a little bit better. I don't actually think he is. Kent Swanson, what do you got for me?
Thanks, Tuck. It is Kent Swanson and Maddie Lane from the KC Laboratory giving you something to watch here for Chiefs Jaguars Week 5 Monday Night Football. Cannot wait. Maddie Lane, how you feeling?
So I'm feeling pretty good about this game. We previewed this game earlier in the week on the KC Lab. I think we all felt pretty good. The Chiefs match up not just favorably in terms of schemes, but like the personnel. We think the Chiefs might be a better team and they're peaking at the right time. But today, we're going to kind of talk about one of the things we think that they can do to really take advantage of this Jaguars defense, as their fans tell me they like to be pronounced.
Do they really?
They get mad at you if you say Jaguars.
Oh, I'm going to call them the Jaguars forever now.
Just letting you know. You've been disrespectful
Jaguars
to the Duval culture.
Oh, golly. Okay. Well, I'm not going to dignify that. I am going to talk about the deep ball. I think when you watch, the Chiefs down the field vertical passing game, it feels better. It looks better. It looks like even some of the misses are better misses than they've been in the past. The aggressiveness is there. The downfield mindset is there. You've seen it already opening some things up. And I think, some of the checkdowns even look more opportunistic at times because the vertical passing game has been better. But I think there's still plenty of room to grow. And we saw Tyquan Thornton take a little bit step back last week from a snap count perspective. But, man, I still think there's so many players on this field now with Xavier Worthy back, Tyquan Thornton, even Hollywood Brown a little bit, that can exploit down the field in the vertical passing game. I think there's a chance that we get some big explosive plays from the Chiefs against the Jaguars this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. The vertical passing game has looked a lot better so far this year, but after all, the Chiefs are only 5 for 19 on passes over 20 yards. So it's been more effective than what it was last year, but it's not like it has returned to the glory or anything like that. They're still struggling to connect with consistency, but just watching it, it feels better, right? Some of these plays, even this past week for Xavier Worthy's first game, he got open a couple times and they were close on a few of them, but they hit one, they were close on a couple more. Tyquan Thornton had chances earlier on when he was getting some vertical shots where, yeah, they would have been tough catches, but there were some other plays that he could have definitely come down with because the ball was very catchable. A couple others weren't. It feels like the misses are getting closer and closer, and then they're still finding a way to connect on 1 or 2 of these deep balls every single game. And I think this matchup with the Jags, who have had a very good pass defense, but I think they're very gettable, right? I think they're a team that is going to allow their corners to play a little bit. They're not going to constantly give them a ton of help. They're not going to play super soft coverage and just dare the Chiefs to take everything underneath. They are going to challenge these receivers. And I think that's going to give guys like Tyquan Thornton or Xavier Worthy these opportunities to beat them over the top. And then it will just be up to Patrick Mahomes to put the ball in the bucket, drop it, give a place for them to catch. I really hope we see more Thornton downfield because it felt like Mahomes had a little bit more comfort of throwing the ball into slightly more dangerous places for him to go get, whereas Worthy, it still feels like he's trying to place the ball into the perfect spot, which leads to some of their incompletions, I think, downfield.
You think? I mean, look what the trust that he showed with Tyquan Thornton against the Giants the last time that I really saw those two connect down the field. Special back-to-back plays, willing and trust to give him a chance. And I think that's something that this team has to build on and has to grow with. And that's what's so exciting about Tyquan Thornton is the trust that he's built with Patrick Mahomes, I think affords him some opportunities in the future as this thing kind of, starts to form, as this thing builds out, as this offense materializes into what it's going to be, come playoff time. I think the Tyquan Thornton element is real and should continue to be part of this offense. You talk about this being a chance for this team to maybe push the ball down push the ball down the field a little bit. The Jaguars pass rush is going to presumably be without Trayvon Walker for this week. It seems like he probably will not be playing in this game. If he does not play, man, that's a big opportunity for this Chiefs offensive line to hold up with some of these longer developing plays. They're not going to have the pass rush to be able to, really sustain some things. That gives the Chiefs a really big opportunity to try to exploit the Jaguars down the field, maybe in a way that other teams haven't been able to. I think the Chiefs have that, that they're going to have opportunities because I think they're going to be able to hold up in protection this week.
I think so as well. The Jags have a solid team across the board, but they don't have a pass rusher that really, really scares you. And Josh Hines Allen is very good, but if he's the only guy you're even mildly worried about, that allows you to adjust your protections, to move the pocket, just make your play calls designed around knowing where he is. And when that's the case, you can start to hold the ball a little longer. You can run some of these routes that get deeper into the play, and that gives you these opportunities to not just run go routes, but to run some of these deep overs, to get some double moves on corner posts or post corners, and just open up the playbook a little bit more. We didn't get to see it against the Ravens, but I really do hope we see a few more, two-man route combos from Thornton and Worthy that work together downfield, and that way you maybe get a double post. That way maybe you get some of these deep crossing corner post routes, 7-9 route concepts where they're working in tandem downfield to really stress a defense rather than just one of them going deep and the other one doing something else. So this game, I think, sets up very well to see what the Chiefs' plan of attack is going to be for that downfield passing attack, and it will start with that protection. I think the Chiefs' offensive line has been playing better and better. We have seen them across the board. This game against the Ravens this past week was probably their best overall performance in pass protection. I think they've done admirable jobs against, the Eagles, against the Giants, against better defensive lines there before. So this is a good test, I think, across the board. And I just hope we see them connect on more than one pass downfield. 5 so far this year. That essentially means only one game have they hit more than one pass, over 20 yards in a single game. Let this be the game where they hit 2 or 3 and really start to stretch the field and give more for defenses to think about going forward, especially with the return of Rashee Rice on the horizon. You start hitting some deep shots before he gets back. He's going to come back into the most wide open field imaginable to really get this offense to the next level.
Who's getting one this week? Give me the names.
I mean, Worthy's definitely getting one, I think, because he's going to get the opportunities. I got to see what the Chiefs' plan is with Thornton. They didn't run him on the vertical stuff against the Ravens, and I don't know if it was because the Ravens' defense was just kind of losing some bodies and they felt they were a little bit stronger down the spine to handle the deep stuff and not necessarily on the corners, or what the rationale was. So I think Worthy's going to get more opportunities. I trust that he's going to get those opportunities, but I think this would be a game where we might get multiple just based on how the Jags defense plays and what that pass rush may be lacking. So give me one for each Worthy and Thornton downfield, and one of them is going to be a 40-plus yarder. Someone's going to catch one in stride and keep going.
It's Tyquan 40-plus. That's my shot.
From the slot?
From the X.
What?
From the X. Yeah, that's what I think. Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pre-game coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to hear from Matt Hamilton from Matter Days on the KC Laboratory right after this.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
The one thing I'm looking at in this game for the Chiefs is that run defense up against Travis Etienne and this creative Liam Cohen run game that the Jaguars have right now. And Etienne, I feel like it's not getting talked about enough in this Jaguars 3-1 start. He has been having a phenomenal year, averaging over 6 yards per carry. And yes, part of it is him and his skill set, but a big part of it is, as I mentioned, Liam Cohen and the way he designs this run game. There's a lot you have to look at. There is a lot you have to pay attention to, and it's just all working right now for this offense. And if you look at the Chiefs defense, as phenomenal as it's been and as great a job as Spags has done game planning against teams week in and week out, the one area where they've had some issues at times has been in that run defense. They're 22nd against the run. Overall, they are bottom 5 in yards per carry allowed, over 5 yards per carry right now. So this is going to be a game. This is going to be an area where I think this game could be decided who is going to step up in this Chiefs defense. It's got to be a big game from Nick Bolton, from Leo Chanel. He has to be on the field more often. I think he has to be on point. I think this Jaguars offense, because you think about Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter being a part of it. Now you think about all the pieces they have in this passing game, but it really is this run game that's been the biggest factor in this 3-1 start. So I think that's where you have to start. If you're Spags, that's the thing you're going to have to take away, because Trevor has shown some signs of growth under Liam Cohen so far, but there's still been a lot of bumps in the road. He's still putting the ball in harm's way a lot. So I think if you manage this run game, you take the run game out of the equation as much as you can, you put it on Trevor's shoulders as he's still getting comfortable in this offense. That's the path to the Chiefs winning this game. And I have full confidence in Spags' ability to get at Trevor Lawrence a little bit, make him uncomfortable, force him into some mistakes. But if the Chiefs can't stop the run, there are going to be fewer and farther opportunities in between to do that. So that's what I'm looking at in this game. I think it's going to be the key. Back to you guys.
Appreciate it, Hamilton. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get Benny's picks for this Chiefs-Jaguars Monday Night Football game. Benny, what do you got for me?
What is good, everybody? It is Benny Heiss, KCSN sports betting analyst. We're going to talk a little Chiefs and Jaguars on Monday Night Football. I'll give you guys a play in just a second, but I do have a quick question to start things off, and that is, what is your favorite touchdown? Because for me, it's the next one. And that's because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and of KCSN, every touchdown has a chance to bring you closer to cashing in. There's so many different touchdown plays that are available at TK Sportsbook, whether you're into the first touchdown plays, anytime touchdown props. For me personally, I love taking a stab on some live touchdown plays, especially for players who have yet to cash in when the odds were very much in their favor earlier in the game. You know they're going to be targeted late. You can get some really good value on the board. And for this matchup this week, the Chiefs 3.5-point road favorites going to Duval County against Jacksonville, with total sitting at 46.5. And remember, the best part is if you bet just $5 and your bet wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Using DraftKings for an awfully long time, got very excited once it became available in the state of Kansas. You know that in Missouri, it is just around the corner. You can get registered today, and remember to use that code KCSN. All right, so let's talk about this matchup. As I mentioned, Chiefs -3.5 on the road on Monday Night Football, total at 46.5. That number is actually down from 47.5 where it opened, and I'm going to stick with that continuing trend on moving that line down. I like this game going under 46.5 points. It's interesting, right? You think about these two teams. You see two offenses really explode last week in games that they were both underdogs and they won outright, right? Chiefs were home underdogs against the Ravens. Jacksonville road underdogs against the undefeated 49ers. So you see these two offenses really go to town, and then the immediate line from the Sharps is to go and move this line from 47.5 down to 46.5. It gets past that key number of 47. So I'm going to stay with that. And yes, Jacksonville's a good team. Their defense right now leads the NFL in takeaways this year. They're +9 in the turnover margin. This is normally the game, you think about it from a traditional sense with the Chiefs over the last several years, that they would probably lose when they're just beating up on everybody else. And, the game that always feels like, all right, when's that trap game going to come? I don't think this is going to be one of those games. But I do think they're going to try to grind out Jacksonville in the second half, the way that we've seen and become accustomed to over the last year or so. Trevor Lawrence, he's looked better. He's improved, still turning the ball over far too often. And we know what the Chiefs can do when they're able to get pressure on quarterbacks like Lawrence. They're prone to turnovers. I expect Kansas City to be able to continue to improve on that running game that we saw last week. To me, this just kind of feels like the way that Jacksonville is creating pressure, and with Kansas City's ability on defense, feels like a 23-17 game. Don't see a whole lot of scoring until maybe a big play from Xavier Worthy or somebody else in the second half, and then the Chiefs defense shuts the door. So you can certainly make an argument for Chiefs +3.5, even though you have to lay the hook. The Chiefs -3.5 with the hook. But to me, I just don't think it's going to be as high of a scoring game as maybe people anticipate. So give me the under at 46.5 for this matchup over on DraftKings Sportsbook, because your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. That is right. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use that code KCSN, to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. KCSN in partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Remember, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Just call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. You must be 21 plus, and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive the reward. Minimum -500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after they're issued. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, please visit dkng.co/audio.
Beat for the Week presented by our friends at Batch Elder Family Farms, 20810 South Prospect Ave out here in Belton, Missouri. You can find all your farm fresh goodies from farm-raised beef, bison, chicken, eggs, pork, you name it. They got it here, Batch Elder Family Farms. Come check them out. As I mentioned, 20810 South Prospect Ave. Let's get into it. It's a time-honored tradition. It is something that every single football coach says. It is something that every single football coach will continue to say because there's some truth to it. It is a cliche, but this Kansas City Chiefs team needs to take care of the football on Sunday. This Jacksonville Jaguars team is very good at the takeaways. Coming off a 4 takeaway performance against the San Francisco 49ers, they've had at least 3 takeaways in every game this season. That is actually insane. I don't think that the Jags can keep that pace up when it comes down to their defensive sustainability. But what the Chiefs need to do is they need to control what they can control by taking care of the football. It's going to be crucial. Do not give them any extra possessions where they can, make things hurt by adding more points to the board. They've got a kicker that has a hell of a leg. Don't allow them to add more points by giving them more possessions. Chiefs need to take care of the ball. On the other side, they could probably take the ball away a couple more times. The Jacksonville Jaguars have also had a turnover in every game. They're plus 12 in the turnover differential, but they've still given up a lot of fumbles, interceptions. I think that this is going to be key to this game is who wins the turnover battle. The Jaguars have prided themselves on this from their defense, their new look offense, Liam Cohn. They got a new identity at this offense here for the Jacksonville Jaguars and taking the football away, giving their offense some extra possessions. Travis Etienne's been playing really well. So if their defense, like Devin Lloyd, who already has 3 interceptions, crazy, 4 weeks into the season, he has 3 interceptions. But if they get more possessions, they'll be harder to beat. That's why the Chiefs need to take care of the football, focus on that ball security. They haven't really had a problem with it this year so far. This is the game you do not want it to be a factor. And I don't think the Jags can sustain 3 turnovers a game, forcing 3 takeaways a game. I don't think that they can sustain that. We might be seeing a little bit of fool's gold from the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll keep an eye on it, but you got to keep that the main thing. You got to keep the main thing, and that main thing for me is going to be taking care of the football. Do not turn the football over and force some takeaways. Once again, out here at beautiful Batchelder Family Farms in Belton, Missouri, you can stop by here. They are also at the Farmers Market, Overland Park. Ever heard of it? Downtown City Market Farmers Market. Ever heard of it? They're out there too, so you can go check them out. All right, that's going to do it for me right here for Beef of the Week. I'll be back with you to wrap the show up, but we got to hear from the Only Weird Games guys. Josh, what you got?
Thank you, Tucker, Joshua Briscoe, Nate Taylor, 2/3 of Only Weird Games here with you for our thing on 5 things. Nate, we talked about this on Weird Games on Thursday. It's been kind of a weird evolution of the Jags passing game. I have been at points in the past a Trevor Lawrence optimist. I think I remain a Liam Cohen optimist. They've not really gelled together in the way that you'd expect through the first 4 games. The bit of trivia that I gave on Weird Games, for anyone listening now who hasn't listened, who do you think is leading the Jags in both receiving yards and receptions this year? It is not De'Ami Brown. He's 4th. Travis Hunter. He's 3rd. Brian Thomas Jr. He's 2nd. It is tight end Brenton Strange who leads the Jags in catches and receiving yards. It's kind of an interesting matchup for a Chiefs secondary that's been playing pretty darn well here since week 2.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that too is like Strange, Thomas nor Hunter have a touchdown this year. So now they're facing a secondary that seems to be pretty focused and not making any mental mistakes like we saw in Brazil. And so that's a great credit to Dave Merritt and Steve Spagnuolo. But I think Brian Cook's had an excellent year so far. Jaden Hicks has started to really understand his role. And from a cornerback standpoint, Josh, we might see this be the game where the Chiefs really do have 4 capable cornerbacks that they can throw out there. If the Jaguars want to go spread this thing around with 3 or 4 wide receivers, that's, of course, all-pro Trent McDuffie. Jalen Watson's had a very quiet and underrated season. Noah Williams, I know Seth wrote about him this week in the Chief of the North newsletter. He appears to be an absolute like fisticuffs ready to happen press man corner. And then Christian Fulton, he's been practicing. He's coming off the ankle injury. He might be in the mix as well. So if you trust your cornerbacks, if you think your safety play has been pretty good at limiting explosive plays, you can potentially, not to the same rate, because that was pretty like what Spags did against both Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts is a bit like unusual, but you can maybe speed Trevor Lawrence up, heat him up with some blitzes on occasion, particularly on 3rd down, and see if those cornerbacks, whether it's in man or some match zone looks, stay pretty close to Thomas Bryant Jr. I think he's the one that, the Chiefs will like to most take away the way they did Malik Neighbors. And let's see, how dynamic Travis Hunter can be, especially with him playing, most of the time on defense, even though he's been an offensive weapon, is probably the best way to describe that. Yeah. Really fascinating to see who Trent McDuffie is with the most. But at the same time, like, if you want a physical sort of man-to-man look, maybe it is Noah Williams against, Thomas Jr. I know that sounds wild, but Noah Williams pretty much erased DeAndre Hopkins, who's known to be a very good contested catch, physical wide receiver on the edge, on the perimeter. So maybe that's the answer, but there are intriguing matchups throughout that sort of DB wide receiver sort of looks for the Jaguars offense.
And even as Fulton is still in that space of figuring out how limited or full participant he'll be throughout practice, and then obviously when the game comes around, the crazy thing that adding Noah Williams to the mix does is it does let me look at the Jags depth chart and go, oh, well, there's not a matchup to pick on here. I think Travis Hunter is obviously a fascinating football player for a million reasons, but if he's lined up opposite Trent McDuffie, one of those guys is an NFL All-Pro, and one of those guys is a good player trying to prove that he can be. When you look at, you think about BTJ, even if it's not Noah Williams, maybe it is Jalen Watson, who, as you mentioned, hasn't gotten a ton of national spotlight for how good he's been this year, but he's off to just about as good of a start as he was off to pre-injury last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you have this ability, and you can just go ahead and have Leo man up with Brenton Strange all day, and we'll be fine, I guess. Apparently he can just run with anybody. That probably won't be it. But
he erased Mark Andrews.
plastered, he said.
Plastered him. Yeah.
And in terms of getting to Trevor, if this is a chance for your 4-man pass rush, and again, look, for as acknowledging that there haven't been a lot of fast pressures for George Karlaftis, the Chiefs are rushing 3.5 at Lamar Jackson and making an impact on him in the pocket pretty regularly against the Ravens. If you are able to send a couple well-timed blitzes, probably not the all-out effort that we've seen twice already this year, really, with the Eagles and Ravens, but if you're able to speed him up a little bit and get him uncomfortable, again, one of the things that just doesn't seem like it's quite settled in yet for the Jags is Trevor Lawrence fully meshing into what Liam Cohen wants to do offensively. Take advantage of that. Make sure he's a little bit disoriented. And again, I mentioned this on Weird Games, but Brian Thomas Jr. has 32 targets and 12 catches this year. He has been targeted, and it's fallen incomplete for one reason or another 20 times already this season. That's crazy. I know we're not all math majors here. That's 5 times a game through 4 weeks. 5 targets that fall to the ground to BTJ while he's caught 12 passes all season.
Right. And we know how talented he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we saw from him last year is terrifying.
Yeah, we know how talented he is. So if you pressure, if you speed him up, Trevor Lawrence has thrown 4 interceptions this year. So he's on a 1 interception per game basis. The Chiefs, as we've seen the last 2 weeks, have been generating more takeaways. I know this is what Seth will say, so I'm just going to say it for him. Because you've had good cornerback play over the last 3 weeks, Shamari Connor is in his absolute natural safety position. He does not have to play nickel. He does not have to be man-to-man against a receiver. He can actually be a capable defender within the structure of the secondary. And that should continue because the Chiefs now appear to have plenty of quality options when a team wants to run 3 wide receiver sets. And we know Spags likes to match up either in nickel or his preference being dime. That way you can have Jaden Hicks and Shamari Connor play their natural safety positions. So that's something to keep a lookout for because the answers have not been as easy as they were in Sao Paulo for these quarterbacks since that first game.
There you go. Keep an eye on what the Jags try to do through the air, how the Chiefs counter it. That's our thing from Nate Taylor and myself, Joshua Briscoe. Now I get to kick it back to Tucker D. Franklin.
Appreciate it, Josh. That's going to do it for 5 things here on KC Sports Network. You heard from the KC Lab. You heard from Matt Hamilton. You heard from me out here at Batchelder Family Farms. You heard from Benny Heisler getting his picks. And finally, the only weird games, guys, wrapping things up here. Big Monday Night Football matchup. Prime time once again for the Kansas City Chiefs as they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, don't forget that we do have the live post-game show right after the game. And don't forget that I'm out here at Batchelder Family Farms, 20810 South of Prospect Avenue out here in Belton, Missouri. That's where the farm is. That's where you can pet the pigs, pet the chickens, pet whatever you want out here at Batchelder Family Farms. Whatever Brad will let you pet, you can pet it. Even this nice little dog here. You can pet this dog as well. That's going to do it for me out here. Appreciate you guys. Make sure to stay locked into here at KC Sports Network. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. I'm Tucker Franklin. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys after the Chiefs and Jaguars game here on KC Sports Network.